For our work yesterday, we were talking about positives and negatives. Now, I want us to be able to put the numbers in order. Yesterday, I know I mentioned about the number line. I said there's a line, so something straight. There's a zero in the center, and then to the right of it are the positive numbers, and to the left of it are the negative numbers. Now, the interesting part of the number line is that the numbers are listed from smallest to largest. Okay, so the farthest left you are on the number line, the smaller you are the number is. Now the farthest to the right is the bigger the number can be. Okay, so first of all, here it says write the numbers in order from least to greatest. So what I'm going to do is let me list the negatives first. I know negatives are smaller than the positives, so let me list my negatives first. So my focus right now is just on -3, -78, and -54. Like I said, I'm looking at the negatives first because those are small and negatives are smaller than positives. Okay. Now I know if they were positive, I'm looking at the numbers 3, 78, and 54. If they were positive, the smallest number will be 3, right? We know 3, if they were positive again, 3 will be the smallest and 78 will be the biggest. Because they're negative, it works the other way around. -78 is the smallest and -3 is the biggest. Okay, so again, if they were positive, I think, oh, 3 is the smallest and 78 the biggest. Because they're negative, it works the other way around. So my smallest negative here will be -78, and then -54, and then -3. Because I listed my negatives first. I know if I was to put them in a numbered line, -78 will be the one farthest left from those 3 numbers. Okay, so I took care of the negatives. Then I look at my list if there's a 0. Sometimes there is a 0. In this case, I don't have a 0. So now I just have the positives. I'm going to put them from small to large. So +2, +54, and +81. I listed my numbers from small to large. Now in your homework, what you're going to be doing, in my case, I had to write the commas because I was writing all of my numbers. In your homework, you're just going to see spaces, right? There's 6 numbers listed, so you're going to see 6 spaces. Obviously go from small to large. Okay, the reason why I did that is because what if you put most of your numbers correct? Most of them. It's just 2 of them are incorrect. What if I messed up on the last 2? Right? What if I put 81 smaller than 54? What if I make that mistake? Well, I don't want to take points for the whole question. I don't want to mark the whole question wrong because you did most of it right. So that's why I'm putting that. You guys have to input the numbers individually in case you get some of them right. I don't want to mark the whole question wrong. Okay, now let's take a look at question number 6. First of all, I look, are there any negatives? In this case, -31 and -11. If I was to put them on the number line, -31 will be farthest left than -11. So that means that -31 is my smallest number. So I'm going to say -31 and then -11. Again, I look at my negatives first because my negatives are smaller than my positives. Then I look at my list. Do I have any zeros? Nope, I don't. Now I just have positive numbers. So I see +8, +42, +17, +25. Now 8 will be my smallest number. Notice how it's only 1 digit and the others are 2. Now, if you're struggling, is 17 the smallest, or is 25, or is 42? Which one's the smallest? Since they're 2-digit numbers each, look at the first number. All right, 17 starts with a 1. So I'm going to say 17. And then 25 starts with a 2. And then lastly, 42 starts with a 4. So notice how I was using the first number, the first digit. I know 8 from my numbers here, it starts with an 8, not a 1, not a 2, not a 4, but that was only one digit. So I took care of the 1 digits first, and then I look at the 2 digits. And I look at the leading number, so the number in the very front. Okay, let's do this again. Let's take a look at question number 7. First of all, let me look for negatives. Negative 25, negative 23, negative 103, and negative 58. Okay, so first I'm looking at those that have 3 digits. So negative 103. Let me cancel it out. So I tell myself I already used it. And then I'm gonna go negative 58, negative 23, and then lastly negative 5. I listed all my negatives. Okay. Then I'd see, do I have a 0 on the list? Yep, I do. I do a 0. So I'm going to put my 0 there. And then positive 18. Remember that in the number line, 0 is what separates the negatives from the positives. The same thing when you're putting them in order. There's a 0 in between the negatives and the positives. Sometimes we have to write it because it is in the list, like in number 7, but sometimes we don't have the 0 on the list, so we don't have to worry about that. But again, 0 is the number in between negatives and positives. 0 is the only number that we don't call positive and we don't call negative, right? There's no such thing as a negative 0, and there's no such thing as a positive 0. Right, 0 is just 0, right? It's not negative, it's not positive. All right, let's take a look at question number 8. First of all, let me look for my negatives. Negative 3, negative 13, and negative 33. If I was to put them on the number line, farthest left will be negative 33. So that means that's the smallest of the 3. And then negative 13 and negative 3. So put my negatives in order. Remember, on the number line, if it is farthest left, that means it's my smallest number. The number line, it's basically writing the numbers from small to large. All right, then I look on my list. Do I have a 0? No. Now my positives, I have 33, 3, and 13. So 3, 13, and 33.